you. I just like to find out who you are. And if a woman can't hear that, that tells me a lot about her expectation of who men are. And some women, frankly, want to exploit men. You know, I've had people say, well, unless you're going to buy me dinner, I'm not going to tell you any more about me. I'm like, whoa, really? Okay. Ciao.
See you later.
Yeah. So it just,
I think that people should look at it as a fun experience. A lot of people call and say, this is so terrible. And I'm like, wow, it's all the way you think about it, all the way you set it up. So set it up for a short situation. There's either magic or not. And that's used, people always say, well, how do I let somebody down after you meet them and you don't feel it? You can say in your profile, you said you were looking for, you know, a chemistry or a feeling or, you know, a connection. I don't feel that connection, and I know you want it and I want it, and I just don't feel that magical connection. I just wanted to be honest and wish you good luck.
continue to talk. I got to go turn something off. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. So anyway, a lot of people say to me that they get frustrated in this because they look at it like a job instead of fun. And right now, we could use a little bit of fun and make it an adventure rather than like you have to meet somebody right away because you're so lonely, because you come across as desperate. So a lot of people's profiles, I look at people's profiles as part of my 20-minute consultation sometimes, and I can tell immediately why they're not getting dates. Some people look overly sexy. Some people say, well, I'm getting all these men that want to sleep with me. I said, well, you have your boobies all over the internet. You know, you should tone it down a little bit. If they're going to meet you, they're going to see that you're voluminous and sexy and all that. You don't have to put it all out there to get a date. And the other thing is to connect with people right away, because if they're attractive people, imagine how many other people are writing to them and communicating with them. So have you found the frustration in that, like where you connect with somebody that you thought and then they disappear? People go, they ghosted me. Or
one of the things that I'm detecting is that when an attractive newcomer comes on a site, I think she gets buried immediately by 100 guys or more. And I've had several contacts say it's just overwhelming.
It is.
And even if they like you, you can easily get lost in the shuffle unless you are, you know, communicating, saying something different, something special, asking the leading question, you know, setting yourself apart from the other guys by saying, hey, I'd like to know who you are. I can see that you're physically attractive, but that's not enough for me. And a lot of women go, wow, that's a different kind of a guy. I'd like to know him.
There should be no rush. And that's why this is like old-fashioned dating. And it's allowing people to open up. And if you're just looking to score, that's cool. I mean, some sites are set up to hook up.
There's some women that are into that too.
A lot of women are into it. A lot of people don't care. The younger generation is doing it really fast and furious.
Oh yeah. The big thing with under 25s is like to stick out your tongue. It's like this invitation to, hey baby, I'm on it. I guess, you know, it's very, I don't know, kind of millennial up in your grill kind of, you know, that's how I interpret it.
Well, every generation dates differently. And I think people that are 40 and up, 50 and up, some of people do want quick fixes, but I think when people are seriously looking for love, that's why they got to stay focused on their vision, know thyself, like it's all in here, how to know yourself and know what to say without interrogating somebody. You don't have to interrogate somebody. You can just, I did it with my own husband. I said, you know, you're in a phase where you're reinventing and I'm in a phase where I want real love. So I don't think we're really a match. So you have to know where you are in the game. If you're hurt and you're going out to get a fix, a lot of people hook up during that time. And sometimes it turns into something and sometimes it doesn't, which is going to lead to our next week's talk all about sex, what we can't get into. But don't you find, I find hundreds of people are just, you have to know who you are because you could get mixed up in something that could hurt your heart if you're not careful. So it's better to take it slow and get to see that person's lifestyle before you jump in sexually too soon.
And learn what their expectations of the opposite sex are. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of foreign people on, you know, who are not from around here, you know, and they're lonesome and they're coming across with broken English or a different set of cultural, you know, imperatives from Catholic Church to, to S&M, and everything in between.
Well,
So
that's
it's
why there's all different websites for what you want. A lot of people
sure.
like Asians, a lot of people like, African Americans. It's all up to you. Christian singles, people over 65, younger meets old, the cougar dating, dating an older women.
Have
I
you heard
did
about
it all.
sugar
I
dating?
interviewed everybody. There's cougar dating. I did a cougar dating, rapid dating event, and it was all 25 to 30-year-old men with 40, 50, and 60-year-old women. It was hysterically wild how many people were hooking up, but mostly it was young guys that wanted to experience sex with an older woman, and it was really fun. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I see people go through all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's really about you and getting real about where you are. I broke up with somebody. I want to have some fun, want to fool around. A lot of people, when they do break up, did not do most guys or women run out and start dating within 2 weeks.
Well,
They
and
get into these loops and it turns into heartbreak again.
a
And
lot
so
of
I
women
say this is
in
good to
particular,
slow down.
people are already courting the next replacement before they even break up with the guy.
I know.
I've heard that on several occasions from interviewing different gals about their background. And one of the key things I ask is, what's your relationship like with your family?
Mm-hmm.
When there's all kinds of stress in a family, infidelity from the father or the mother, for that matter, friction of one sort or another inside the family, that is a red flag to tell you that, some of that gets projected into someone's world. And if you're in that world and you're in an intimate environment with them, you're going to feel like you're boxing in the dark sometimes.
Well, that's what is called love imprints. When people have imprints like I did, and if you read my book, you'll see, and Clayton read it and was like kind of shocked. I think people were shocked to find out that I got led into the business to heal myself. I have interviewed some of the top doctors in the world. Then I got into the trenches of dating and became a teacher for men back in 1992. Then I pioneered rapid dating. So I watched thousands of people date because I wanted to see the insides of the minds of these people and what wires them. When half of the world is divorced, Clayton, this is so important what you just brought up. With the divorce rate being so high, the role models of people that are younger and at each generation is completely different. So if you don't find out about a person's lineage and their upbringing and their modeling, you could get yourself in a little bit of trouble, like he was saying. And, when men used to go out with me, this is really a funny story, but there was cheating in my family through the years. And the men would always say that they had meetings. I got a meeting. I get on the Italian. Hey, I got a meeting. I got a big meeting with my buddies or whatever. Well, they weren't meetings. They were women. They were uncles and different family members. And I would hear all the women be sad. So when I grew up, a man, if I was on a date and he would call me and he'd say, "You're such a nice girl. We go out a few times," and then he'd call and say, "Gotta cancel a date. I have a meeting." I'd say, "I bet you had a meeting." And he would be just like, "What?" So I didn't realize
You're projecting onto him.
I was projecting on, and I would never hear from them again. So men and women, you'll sometimes date somebody and you think they're really great, and then you'll ask them a question and you'll feel like a fire come out of them about a topic. It's usually something that isn't healed up. So it's good to ask these questions, Clayton. So didn't you discover that there was a lot of women that were in different phases of love than you were?
Oh yeah, I talked to a gal the other day who is a school principal, and lovely person, but just separating. In fact, still in the throes of separating, and kind of looking at me as the new replacement. And I'm like, slow down, cowgirl. I'm not sure I want to play that role again. I got real cured of that in my last go around, and so I think you should go heal your heart. I support you totally. I'll keep you in my prayers, but I'm not interested in jumping into that scene with you and trying to save you or fix you or help you feel better. Yeah. I need to take care of my heart. You need to take care of yours. And that has really helped me to let go also of just whenever sorrowful thoughts come up or something like that, I go immediately to gratitude and prayer.
Yeah.
And I
Well, you've
change my
really come a
state.
long way, but most people take it out on themselves. And I'm telling you, it's better
Or
to
they blame.
know thyself and be honest with people when you're dating. And then we were talking about safe dating. So let's get into this. And I know we have to wrap it up. My cousins, my clients, I've been suggesting for them to do either parking lot, meeting somebody in a parking lot.
Well, that cracks me up. You're drive-by dating.
Drive-by dating.
Tell them
It's like, let's meet for 20 minutes, talk, you know. And my cousin's been doing
it. They talk out the window.
Yeah, because she said to me, I keep meeting men at these Wawas or the grocery store. So I started to say, well, let's have a parking lot date. And the guy would get in his car and drive over, and they would sit near each other and talk through the car, but not get out of the car. And then I started talking about it. And then, you know, drive-by dating is now kind of a cool thing. But now people are meeting, they're doing, you know, walking, dating, beach walks like you've been doing, and meeting at coffee shops and sitting apart from each other. But it's still possible to date. Don't be afraid, but just don't jump in. And then it gives you the opportunity to flirt, and you can build rapport. You can learn about their family. You can ask a lot of great questions.
Well, and let's face it, anticipation is a huge aphrodisiac in sexuality.
Yeah.
And if you don't jump right in, but you really build the anticipation, the sexual tension, shall we say, by someone getting more and more and more into who you are, what you think, the way you feel, the way you express yourself, that's a huge positive if you can just see it that way. So what you're recommending in the book, slow down, find out who this person is, let attraction build. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense to go back to these more traditional ways of doing relating in this COVID period. You're not risking your life.
Yeah, you're not risking your life. You're having fun, and you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. You know, you meet somebody. I have clients that are like, I met the man of my dreams. I said, when? And they said, 2 days ago on Match. We have everything in common. I said, we have a long way to go, Tiger, on this one. Getting to know the family values is key for me. What is your key? What is your values? What are your top things that you look for? So that's why if you have time, which I would highly recommend, we all have more time now. People that are reading this are workaholic people, and they're like, I've never had time to evaluate anything, and that's why I've had crappy relationships.
Right now.
Right? Amen.
Right now. I've recommended the book to several friends, especially in Europe, and they're able to get your book, provided they speak English at this juncture, and are digesting it and getting a lot of value out of it, because the themes that you're talking about transcend culture. Yeah. And they're all about asking the right questions, having the right view of how to get to know someone before you give your heart away, before you open your body and get all hooked up in something that may not be right for you, or maybe in a different phase. No disregard to the person, but they may just be in a different phase than you are. That's and it may not be right now.
And when you're not hearing it because the sexual energy is heated up, you hear it, but it doesn't connect, because then you're starting to fool around and you get bonded without knowing the whole picture of where that person's at. And then they backstep 3 weeks later and go, oh, by the way, I just left my girlfriend or my husband or my whatever, right? And then you're like, and we need to slow this puppy down. So why not do it before you do it? You know, because most people at that phase, and we're going to get into this next week, so you're going to have to tune in because we have to wrap it up. Okay. Is there any more final thoughts on this topic of safe dating during Corona for you, Clayton, that you've experienced?
Well, it really comes down to, you know, loving yourself enough to slow it down a little bit, protect your heart a little bit, but really protect your body too. Get to know someone a bit. And, you know, I also talk to my little guy inside, because he's the very emotional part of me. And I don't want him to have to sit in the corner while I'm just having sex with someone and he doesn't get to participate. It's a very graphic visualization for me. Yeah. And so I'm not drinking anymore right now in my life. I'm not inebriating myself in any way. I'm getting to know someone very consciously, and I'm telling you, and buddy, you get to come with me. Little Clay gets to come on the date too. And he gets to participate emotionally. Now, this may sound a bit mechanical, but it's a very real thing. Once you welcome him into this process, it becomes very sweet.
Well, people wouldn't understand. We did do a segment about that part of us. We all have one part that believes and maybe has had some sad things. And then we have this other part that might be trying to get us to get love without really checking it out. So that's what this is all about. And Joe, I'm sorry, my dog is getting a drink at this time. He knows how to get love, that's for sure. But if you're out looking for love, it's better to slow down everything down so that you can connect with the part of you that might still be fearful or healing, that you don't rush in. Because normally when people come to me, they say, I knew something wasn't right, but I did it anyway. And now when I go out, don't be beating yourself up that you made a mistake with the person or the persons before this. Just slow everything down and really build the energy. And next week, we are going to be talking about sex and, you know, the Zoom fast sex that a lot of people are having, and how sometimes it makes people further and further away from really finding true love, and how you can talk about it really consciously with people that you're attracted to so that you can keep the energy of it growing. And that's what you were talking about, building.
Well, I think sometimes this fast sex masquerades as intimacy, but what I'm finding is it's really intimacy avoidant.
Wow. Well, this is going to be a great topic to talk about next week. So please try these tips when you're out dating. First of all, update your profile. Make sure you look good before you go on video. Make sure your attitude is right and you take chances and go out multiple times. And if you need some help looking at your profile, I do offer 20-minute consultations. If you contact me at reneepiane.com, there's a contact page. Just let me know you heard the love tips and we'll set up a Zoom. And then you're going to have to practice, because that's what, then you're going to have to practice. And imagine me being your date. Get yourself, so these are some of your tips to get yourself prepared today, as if maybe tomorrow you're going to meet the right person. And you're going to use these times that you do go out, dress really cool, so that maybe if you are out and you're flirting, you could use some of our flirting techniques. You'll be able to meet people in an instant. So stay inspired. Clayton, thank you for sharing all of your thoughts.
Thank you, Renee.
And we want to hear your thoughts about how you're safely dating. Please, Clayton likes to hear from his Italian friends, and he's got all these new fans that are really seeing that just because he's a celebrity doesn't mean that celebrities have it any easier in the dating game, right, Clay? I mean, a lot of celebrities are home alone.
We've been getting a lot of good feedback from our friends in Europe, in Italy specifically, and you're translating your book.
Yeah.
So we're expanding the reach of this technology, and we encourage you to interact with us so that we can give you the best rendition possible.
So pick up Get Real About Love so that you can get started to really examine yourself and know what to ask on dates. Have fun with dating. And Clayton and I will see you next week here on Love Tips. And we can't wait to hear from you right here below. Bye.
Ciao.
Keep going out there. Love is right there to find you. Bye-bye.